everyone. Welcome back to Formula Pod. I'm Mihir, your main host for tonight. Then we have Arjun and Jason. Arjun, what's up? How you doing?
Good man. Yeah, a bit disappointed with Mercedes' result, as in even you would be. We gotta discuss that in detail. And to be very honest, I just didn't understand the race at all.
And Jason, I know you're a Ferrari fan. How do you feel about Ferrari coming P2?
P2 was nice after so many days of
Mm.
depression, so many months of depression. I'm just super happy because everything went well. Carlos could have come on third place, but okay, it was required for him in
Listen,
his
I think
last
you should
race.
be very happy. I think you should be very happy that Ferrari came P2. So don't get your hopes too high, okay, Jason? Calm down, calm down.
Where's
Okay.
Mercedes? Where's Mercedes?
Well, at least Mercedes was consistent, and Ferrari is
Yeah.
just on his luck.
That's there. That's there.
So, listen, I really like you, Jason. I don't want to put you down. So, okay. Anyway, so let's get to this episode. Arjun, do you want to start off with explaining what track limits are?
Yes, definitely. Yes, this is something which, during the race, all of us have heard this quite a good amount of times during the qualifying, the sprint shootout, even the practice, as a matter of fact, and even the race. Because track limits for the first time, more than the race, it was the track limits. Okay, the race was only for what? If I'm not wrong, 71 laps? Right. It's 71
Yes,
laps, right?
71
Yeah.
laps. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 71 laps on the race trial of the race, but apparently track limit offenses reported by Autosport says there were potential track limit offenses were 1,200 plus. So more than the Grand Prix, it was more of the race of track limits. It was not the race of the Grand Prix. There were certain drivers who kind of abided by the rules, but then there were, if I'm not wrong, in the particular weekend, every driver managed to get a track penalty because even with sprint qualifying, also Lewis was up on the top, but his track time got deleted because of track limits. So, basic explainer of what track limit is in an easier and a simpler way. It just means that suppose when you're on a Formula One track, okay, you have certain boundaries which mark the end of the track, okay, on the left and right. So if the car goes beyond that particular white color line, okay, that is particularly defined as exceeding track limits. So what FIA also says is that if according to FI the regulator of Formula One, FIA says that the track limits are defined as the white lines that mark on the edges of the racetrack. So during qualifying and race, it is essential that every driver must stay in within these lines. And if a driver fails to do so, the lap time will be deleted or invalidated by the stewards. So stewards are basically the people who kind of control the race. Um, so when this happens, there's a kind of a situation what that comes up, which Mihir would say it.
Okay, so let's just say that, for example, yes, in yesterday's race, Lewis Hamilton went off track more than 10 times. And every driver gets a few chances or warnings before he actually gets a white and black flag. In this case, Lewis Hamilton did go off track because of his car conditions and his brake and suspension work. So Lando Norris complained that Lewis Hamilton is going off track multiple times, and that got attention from the stewards. And they checked, and he did go out, so he got a penalty. Now, as viewers of Formula One, you guys should always look into track limits. The smallest mistake could make a change in position. So always remember the fact that everyone makes mistakes. Even the smallest mistake can make a huge difference from a P2 to a P3 and 4. It's all about timing, it's all about accuracy. That's what Formula One is all about. Jason, any experiences that you've had with off limits where you got pissed off? You're like, yo, no, he went off track. No, this is not right.
Maybe the signs one, but I think that was deserved. So I wouldn't
Okay.
contest much with it. But then yeah, apart from
I,
that, the race was just a mess, track limit wise. But also,
I have a
if
very
you
controversial question, if you don't mind me
mm,
cutting off. Do you
but
think FI is biased towards each team? Or do you think they're likely to help Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, and they don't care about other teams? What do you feel?
a few years ago, I would have said yes. But
Okay.
now, I don't think so. I don't think so.
What made you change that? Like, what made you feel like that's
Uh,
changed now?
the change in management, of course, that's number one. I think
Hmm.
decisions are more consistent nowadays than compared to before, where you would
Okay.
have two different decisions for the same thing in two different races. But now it's more simplified and there's more structure
Mhm.
within the FIA.
Arjun?
No one has pissed me off with going off track in the first place, for sure. When I can't or kind of do something of that sorts. And plus, yeah, the Red Bull Ring is okay. It's the shortest track. One thing, got the highest elevation, and it's just that okay. If certain drivers are complaining that okay, we are trying our level best, we just can't do it. It's the car is just doing it. There's no way to kind of then be like, oh, you know what? Don't do it. And because it was so clear, because literally, if you have observed the Red Bull radio, Sergio Perez was instructed that particular turn, turn 9 of the Red Bull ring, he was told, okay, be very careful. You cannot afford track limit penalty. Because he was basically not having much gap between himself. So he was having a 19-second gap. Even though he managed to get a 5 second or a 10-second time penalty, also he would still stay in the same position. But still, on a team's perspective, it's just that okay, you just want to ensure till the end of the race. It's kind of you just manage to kind of keep that position in without much penalties.
Hmm.
So it's more of like Hamilton already got his penalty. He stayed on the pits and again got another set of penalties. So it is what it is apparently. But each second counts in Formula One because the existing order was this way. It was Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll. Okay? And in this, with the track limit penalties in place, the biggest person who got advantage was the Aston Martins because Fernando got into the zone of double digit points, and Lance Stroll from 1 point he got it 3 points. So they got a 3 point advantage, and then the gap between Mercedes and Aston Martin, the championship, is just 3 points. So it's really crucial now who gets what and how.
Can I just step on one thing that at one point Red Bulls were 15 seconds 15 seconds quicker than the Ferrari, which was in P2, and I was like, oh my god, you guys are quick. Like at that point, I was like, okay, Red Bull's in another league. Like it made me sad, but I had to accept the fact that these guys are racing. I don't know, they're racing spaceships at this point. They're super quick.
I just feel for a second if I was the driver behind Max Verstappen, I would really feel ashamed to have
Yeah.
15-second gap. Like I know I will be if I'm driving, I'm being paid millions and millions to kind of race on that car. Like agreed. But trust me, that kind of guilt would be inside my mind, and I'm pretty sure it'll be there
Mhm.
across all drivers with the entire uh gap which Max Verstappen creates. Like I'm like literally what
Yeah.
this dude is like on his throttle. He can literally just be like on second or third and just be going slowly. And because it is just reached a point, even he does a pit stop, he manages to keep maintain his position.
Mm.
But to be very honest, there were certain moves which were like amazing ones. Say for example, Carlos Sainz versus Sergio Perez. Like what a move! Like okay, they were fighting really well, and it was not some nasty fight. It was pretty
Mhm.
okay. It was like okay, they were just respecting the thing. It was, and just towards the end, Carlos was like, he's what was that exact word? I forgot the word. What's a word for kind of scaring you? It starts with an I.
Intimidating. Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
he was saying on
intimidated. Yeah,
ra-
yeah, yeah.
he was saying on the radio Sergio Perez was intimidating him. And that, at that time, what I thought about Alex Albon versus Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis
Whenever
Hamilton.
a corner comes in, Alex Albon just goes off track or just does a 360 and then come off. I just felt that for a second.
Jeez. It's a
Just
valid,
to
it's a valid phrase. It's a
but
valid feeling. So I give it that to you for sure.
Arjun, just to counter on your point on how Max gets away with that 15-second gap, right? There's a huge difference between starting first place and anywhere else in the grid. Because if you get that gap when you begin, you just get that whole racing track for yourself. In the meantime, everybody in P2 all the way till P20 is competing, And let's be honest, that Red Bull is an absolute machine. And they just get away in the first few seconds. So I think that's another reason why Max is able to get ahead that quickly. What are your thoughts on this, Mihir? Do you support
Obviously, I
me?
mean, starting. Um, I actually do a bit of it, yes. But even if let's just say that, I mean, look at Checo Perez. He he was in P12, P15. I'm not sure. Checo Perez was in which position yesterday?
He was in P15, if I'm not wrong.
He was P15. Yeah, that's what I remember as well. So going from P15 to P3. I mean, that's really impressive. That's a lot of hard work from Perez. I mean, I totally get that as well. But honestly, the fact that I mean, Jason said that he starts out first, he gets the clean air. There's no dirty air. There's no debris. There's no distractions. He's focusing. He knows it's a clean air. It's a track. It's his home track as well. So obviously that does make a very valid point why he's flying through. But even if he started off, let's say, at the back of the grid, eventually after 20 laps or less, he would still come in the podium. That is my guarantee to you. Because the car that they've produced this year is the pinnacle and the definition for Formula One car this season.
Well, you're saying this Max is really cribbing about the 2026 car in 2023. So, according to what Max says, Max was asked during the press conference. So Max Verstappen said, um, he says, for me, the problem is it looks like it's going to be an internal combustion engine competition. Like whoever has got the strongest engine will have the biggest benefit. I think this should be the opposite. I've been
Hmm.
talking with about that with the team, and I've seen the data already on the simulator as well. To me, it looks pretty terrible. So he's just saying what Lewis Hamilton is saying right now with his car, like 3 years advance. And he also says, if you go flat out on a straight at Monza, I don't know if what is like a 400 or 500 meters before the end of the straight, you have to downshift flat out because that's faster. I think that's not the way forward. Of course, probably on one of the worst tracks. Since there's a lot of technical side to this, here, enlighten us.
Okay. So I mean, 3 years is a long time. 3 years. He's thinking of the forward. He's thinking forward. That is amazing. As a Formula One driver, when you're thinking forward, it's good. But I think he's thinking way too forward. I think he needs to focus on next year. Anyway, about downshifting. Yes. When you are getting your turns, downshift is the fastest way to go around a corner, touch an apex, and executive the whole you know turn itself. So I kind of agree with what he's saying, but about Lewis Hamilton, about his cars as well, it's very stressful for me to hear that. Oh my god, my car, it's slow,
Like,
mate.
okay, let me just play this radio message what Toto had for Lewis. Okay, so here's what he said over radio.
Louis, the car is bad. We know. Please drive it.
So he just said that the car is bad. He was begging Hamilton to just drive the car. Like it
I
just reached
feel
that point. I really felt so bad when I heard that.
I'll tell you what it is. I think Lewis Hamilton is losing it by race every single day.
What do you mean?
So Lewis Hamilton does not believe in the car. I think he's at the verge of giving up on the team, if not on the car, because which principal would be like, please, like, request and beg for its driver to keep driving the car. I think Lewis Hamilton's losing it per day with the team. With the developments and the upgrades, I don't think so. I really think there's something wrong with Mercedes internally that I need to figure out. Personally, I will. But there is something going on, and I'm going to get down to this because this is not acceptable for me. They did so well in the last few races. This was their time to shine on the Red Bull track to show them that, you know what, we can do whatever we have to.
If I'm not wrong, Lewis Hamilton has a habit of complaining always, and he always has this habit of crying whenever things go a bit wrong for him. So I think in all these races or in this whole season, Mercedes have just been improving their car and taking it to the next level. But now when there's a small downfall, Lewis Hamilton starts to complain or to cry. So I don't think that's justified on the team. But at the same time, I think Alonso also had this issue with his car, and then I think their updates also didn't work that well. And then Alonso was saying that there was a lack of pace throughout the race. I don't know what exactly the issue was for Mercedes, but I'm pretty sure if Aston had that kind of issue, I would one would assume that Mercedes would have the similar issue as well. But again, Lewis just has a habit of crying always when things just don't go his way. But I'm pretty sure they'll be back. Mercedes is a top quality team, man.
Okay, I definitely agree with you, Jason. I think Lewis does make false statements, and he does, you know, maybe it's a gameplay where where he tries to make the other drivers feel overconfident that, oh my god, his tires are low, or his car is too low, or his aerodynamic structure is not working, is not preferable on his side. But I haven't heard Lewis complain as much as last race. He wasn't able to drive that car. That car was everywhere. It was. I don't know if you guys know this term. I heard this term in a book. I mean, I heard it in a book. Like I read it. Um, he was spreading like ginger because ginger, you know how ginger grows everywhere. So I'm gonna try and put this here. I'm gonna be like, the car was ginger. It was just spreading. It was going all around. So I really think that. I think Mercedes after the race where Lewis got a podium. I think it was a big achievement for them, but I think they got it got over their heads, and now they're like, you know what, we know what to do now.
You know what? I'm gonna just play this particular interview as well, which Toto gave to Sky Sports post race. So this he had to say.
Yeah, the car had no pace today. It's a bruising day, I would say, because we have such a good upward trend, and then you have to take such a day.
Like you've heard that. Toto will says the car doesn't have pace. And I don't know, see, because it's not that we listen to all the team radios. Because we kind of we only listen to the ones which are broadcasted on the race. Because if we were like, say, like how Sky Sports got press the red button and you get all the live stuff, apparently we're not in the luxury of that though. But the most prominent one was being shown that was of Lewis Hamilton's. Of course, George Russell didn't come up much with problems because the spotlight was mainly on Hamilton. But yeah, that's something which was a bit kind of a sad thing. Let's bring the happiness back. McLaren, their upgrades work like wonders. Like Lando Norris bagged points like anything. Like what just happened to that guy? With the penalties, he from P5 he got a P4, and that's like the best result till this date on a McLaren. Like I'm just so impressed. Like that was the most powerful Mercedes, not the Aston Martins. For a change, it was the McLarens.
Again, like I'm gonna say, like I've said it before, the Red Bull race circuit is one of the most unexpected tracks in the circuit, in the racing grid. And I also feel that last race was a very good eye opener for the teams who are not achieving as much as as Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Austin Martin. So it gives a very good confidence to these teams. What do you think, Jason?
I think they've been working hard all season to get a better car. And I say this with all the hate I have for McLaren. I'm still gonna admit that they've worked on their car, but they don't deserve a P4. A P4 is not what they deserve at the moment. I would say. Puts a lot of luck getting their way with the penalty. But, but then yeah, good job, good job.
See, I wouldn't say that because okay, they those guys had a nightmare of a car, and then finally they took the right steps to fix. And trust me, last week we were just joking, saying that McLaren say they bring upgrades, but then we don't know how big the upgrades is and how much performance improvement might come in. Like me and Mihir were just joking about that on the last episode of Grid Gossips, but literally with that particular upgrade, I feel McLaren is on a right direction of where and what is going to be their future. But I don't know whether you guys have observed when the race started. By the second lap itself, a safety car trigger came up with Haas's retiring, the powerful Haas retiring. I would say Nico Hulkenberg, their entire
Yeah, and
front wing situation.
I think it was. I think all the drivers. I think all the drivers are aggressive. I think Nico Hulkenberg he's aggressive. He shows it that he's very humble, but he's a very aggressive driver when it comes to gaining points. Also the pressure by Haas on him because he's the most. I think he's one of the most experienced drivers after Alonso. I think he is very experienced. I think he is very calm and he knows when to push and when to not push. So I think he saw an opportunity. It didn't work out his way, and it's fine. That's how Formula One is. One day you are on the top five, and the next day you are eliminated DNF. So that's okay.
You know, like how on Top Gear, where Jeremy Clarkson says every time about how Germans drive.
Yeah.
German roads not having speed. Like Nico Hulkenberg is a German dude. So it's kind of, what do you call, how will say, if he doesn't lift to that German standards, then he's not Nico Hulkenberg. He needs to stay with that German standards, right? But like, yeah, it was a bit disappointing seeing Nico Hulkenberg going out because I really thought Haas was up for really some good amount of points.
I think in the past few weeks everything has been going wrong for Haas. Just my opinion, but again, I just feel that not everything is going their way, even though they have a fair car, fairly decent car. I'm not gonna say good car, but a fairly decent car. I think something is going wrong, and they're gonna figure it out.
No, trust me, they're the second most powerful not Red Bull, sorry, the second most powerful Ferrari out there. So, as how Ferrari develops, the same way Haas is also developing up. It's picking up the pace. It is seriously on the fight with the Ferraris itself. As a matter of fact, but like, yeah, I'm really looking forward for Silverstone and how that's gonna turn out because apparently Mercedes, McLaren, and I don't know whether Aston Martin has announced, have upgrades. And this is the second update which Mercedes is going to bring up in out of the three upgrades which they told they will be coming up with. So yeah, since the first upgrade I was really hopeful, but with Austria I was just like, what just happened? Because Hamilton, with an even more worse car last year, made it to the podium.
Yeah.
Even more worse car. The W13
Mhm.
was a disaster in its own.
Silverstone will be exciting. Sorry, I'm just focused on Ferrari, but I think Ferrari will struggle over there.
Okay,
So,
that is a bit hard coming from you in the first place.
I know, but I just have that
Because
feeling.
because the Ferraris won Silverstone last year, as a
Yeah,
matter of fact.
but this year I feel they're gonna struggle. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. I won't explain why, But you guys will see why they're gonna
No,
struggle over that.
trust me. I don't want the Milton Keys based team to win Silverstone. No, I want it to be won by a British team by a British driver. Even though even though Mercedes is German, it's based out of Bradley. That's in the UK. Or I even wouldn't mind an Aston Martin winning. But something which I really want to talk about is
Mm-hmm.
this entire policing behind track limits of FI. I think they're not doing a good job out of it. They just feel like they want to do, they were just doing it up. Because, okay, track limit penalties came in, and I just got to know right now, latest data says 87 laps, 47 laps during, 47 laps during quali and 87 laps during the race. Okay, that totals out to be around 134 laps on total track limit deletions. Do you think FIA should actually do something to improve their policing with penalties, especially on tricky tracks like Red Bull Ring?
Look, I'll be very honest. I think for the last few years, to be specific, 3 years, I think FIA has really become lenient. After the whole Abu Dhabi incident with Lewis Hamilton and Max, I think FIA has really lost their SHIT. Okay. And as a matter of fact, I am convinced that FIA is very biased. I think Formula One motorsports is not a fair sport anymore. It's more of who has more money. So, and I'm very glad that the management changed. I'm very glad, but I don't see any results. It's like an Indian politician, he keeps promising things, but there's nothing going on. I just have to say the politics part because that's the
No
most
worries, no worries, no
realistic
worries. It's fine.
example. But yeah, I mean, they've become very lenient, like, and I don't like it at all. Like the strictness. Like I understand if you're giving someone warnings, but oh, he's Max, he's going really fast. It's okay. He has so many fans. We don't want to disappoint him. He's in his home track. But on the other hand, we give like Lando Norris some because he's doing bad. He's not doing that great. Let's give him some pressure. Do you agree with me on this, or do you have something else to say?
I'm really, I didn't say, as a Formula One fan, for us, what we want to see, we always want to support our favorite driver on the track and see our drivers win. But then, if they are making the life of the drivers even more harder, just because, oh, they might be bribing or they might be doing something or somewhere. As in, I don't want to do any name calling over here or not, but then I really feel it is really, really, really time that the FIA just need to get their entire regulation kind of revamped, or at least say it should be done to such a, what do you call it, to such a meticulous point that every detail is specific to the point. Like that is my feedback which I would rather give, because a lot of, with this track limits itself, only in 2023 Bahrain Grand Prix in Sakir track, only there were the track limits, and that too the track limit details were even mentioned in the FIA sporting code. Okay, before it was a very conflicted one, but this thing just came in this year, and even though it came in this year, it should at least be somewhere perfect. It's not at all perfect. If I actually know which track is tricky, which track is not, okay, so they should act accordingly. They should not be
Mm-hmm.
during the race or mid race or post race do all the kind of penalty business with all drivers. I am not a fan of it. I'm honestly not a fan of it. Like I know, like with we doing the Formula One, the Formula Pod podcast. Like okay, this is basically a platform where we basically just express our opinions out. So please, anyone from FIA listening to this, don't consider this that we are kind of criticizing. This is our honest and our genuine feeling that there is some kind of things where you guys still need to do in order to get their regulations sorted in the right way. This is what I think.
And I agree. I mean, look, FIA, if you listen to this, we are not against you. We're trying to improve your. We're just trying to improve you, and we support you. So we're not trying to go against you or anything.
Yeah, exactly. And since I don't want to take this FIA conversation further,
Mm-hmm.
some new updates have been coming up with the British Grand Prix. So every car is going to will be testing for wet weather wheel arches for the first time. So this means the good thing with this wheel arches is that it'll reduce the spray going on to the other driver. So because in a wet race, visibility is one of the biggest problems because you don't have the visibility. You by mistake on a turn, instead of going right, you take left or you go straight. That means it results in lap time issues. It results in the car. All those things comes into place. So this in a way just reduces the spray which hits on a driver's face or on the driver's visor. So to be very honest, it's a really good move what they're doing. So good FI you doing that. But otherwise, like yeah, remaining stuff, get your shit together. Me hear your thoughts.
No, I agree with you, man. Oh my God, Arjun, you went all out of this. I absolutely agree with you. This FIA just you sit in Arjun's house and listen to him, and I will come and we will complain together, and we will fix FIA for you right then, right there.
No, you're saying this. The 2021 Max Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton incident. Till this date, there are petitions being filed. Till this date. Because the next season, Max
Uh,
won it fair and square. This year, potentially, he'll again win it fair and square. Then after that, God even knows whether he'll win it fair and square. Till 2026, I'm pretty sure he will win it fair and square. Uske baad, I have no idea what is going to happen. I'm so sorry, my listeners. My Hindi or say the Desi me is just popping out so nicely over here. Anyways, let's move on to predictions. Your predictions for Silverstone.
Jason, go up front, baby.
Man, I'm thinking. I'm still thinking of who to put where, but I would say Max is first place, obviously, and in
I
second.
think we should. So I'm so sorry. So I'm so sorry, but I think we should stop putting Max as the first. It's done now. Finish.
We should just
He's
skip first.
we should leave
Max
Max. He's in an.
Max is banished out of Formula Pod
He's
unless
no.
unless he's under P5 or something else.
Let's predict P2, P3, and P4. So for me, P2 would be George Russell.
Mm-hmm.
P3 would be Alonso,
Okay. You
and
listening?
P4 would maybe be one of the Ferraris. One, I said
Interesting.
Okay.
one of the Ferraris.
No way both Ferraris could be P4 for sure.
Nah, nah, no way, no way, no way. No way both will finish in top five. Only one will finish in top five.
Okay, me here.
No, I want to hear you, Arjun. I want to hear your thoughts. Let's go.
Okay, I would say P2. I'm gonna first say by the team. A Mercedes. P3 would be an Aston Martin. P4 would be a McLaren. Okay, because I really feel the British teams would be really up on the edge with what they gotta do. But yeah, I would say in terms of drivers, my hope is really high on Hamilton, but I'm not going to deny that Russell cannot perform. Russell also can perform. And apparently, Silverstone is a very perfectly crafted track. It's not some nuisance track like what you got in Baku or, say, a Red Bull Ring. So definitely not. So definitely, I feel all the Mercedes powered cars would make it to the top six, if I'm not wrong. To the top six, I predict at least three Mercedes powered cars would be there.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So my predictions would be obviously I'm gonna start with P1, Red Bull. I'm also gonna put in Alonso because I think Alonso's gonna put a lot of pressure. So I'm gonna put Red Bull, Max, Austin Martin, Alonso, Red Bull, Perez. I'm very keen on putting Ferrari after the performance, so I'm gonna put Charles Leclerc in P4. P5, I'm gonna be very honest. I want to put a Mercedes just because I'm very biased towards Mercedes. So I'll put Mercedes. I want to say George Russell, not
Time for you
Lewis. I
to.
think the reason why I didn't say Lewis is because I saw Lewis's car. It's. I mean, I need to see the practice sessions maybe to rearrange the predictions, but from the performance that I saw in Austria, it's not the best. So, and I know that George is slightly more aggressive than Lewis, so I'm gonna give my heart to George this time. Yeah.
It's time for you to change your wallpapers of
Oh
Hamilton.
man, that'll be so much of effort. I am not keen on doing that at all whatsoever.
On that very terrible disappointment, and this has been going quite a long time. Thank you so much for once again tuning on to another episode of Formula Pod. The guy who was leading the show didn't even manage to say thank you so much. No worries, I'm going to say this. If you guys enjoyed our podcast, please do like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. You want to go on, you can still go on.
You know what, Arjun? You never give me a chance. Okay. First of all, I just want to tell the viewers, I mean the listeners, something. I'm really bad at intros and outros. Okay, so this is something very new to me. So if you do think I did a really good intro, let me know on the comments. DM us on Formula Pod. Let us know if there's anything I can improve on my intro. So I'm gonna. I'm. You know what, Arjun? I'll
You
take it
sign
off.
off, you sign off, you sign off. You
Okay.
sign off.
And everyone who's listening, let me know if it's good enough or not. Okay. Damn. It's getting slightly thirsty. Okay. Thank you so much everyone for hearing us out. If there's any questions or any queries you have regarding Formula One, you want to understand anything about Formula One, even the basic questions, no questions are stupid. We are more than happy to help you out. Okay, guys. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you so much.